My name is Frances Ben Jackson Fleming, but you can just call me Miss Benny. I was born right here in Bainbridge, and my great-grandfather was William Peabody, who was the first person to be buried here in Oak City. My brother was Robert Wright Jackson, the very first dentist in Decatur County, but I was a teacher of music and math. I studied at Bainbridge Academy before going off to college. And when I graduated from college, I tutored for a little bit in Attapogus before returning to be a librarian at the college I graduated from, which is Wesleyan Female College. Then I went to the Chicago Cosmopolitan School of Music. I loved music and Chicago. What a city. I continued to visit there and continue my training throughout the rest of my life. But in 1909, I returned to Bainbridge and married John Fleming at my parents' home on Shotwell Street. 150 people came to our wedding, and I was told it was the occasion of the season, and it was probably because we were two of the best families in Bainbridge. My husband, John Fleming, was one of the co-owners of Freedman Tobacco Company, and he was also one of the leaders in the turpentine business. John and I, after our honeymoon, of course, settled in Shotwell Street and tried to start a family. Very first attempt at pregnancy, however, turned into a miscarriage. It was very sad for both of us. But then, at the age of 37, I became pregnant with twins. And I was in Chicago and 7 months pregnant when my babies decided to come a little bit early. And so I gave birth to twin boys, identical twin boys, John Jr. and little Francis. Unfortunately, Francis only lived 36 hours, and his body was returned to Bainbridge, and it is laid in the family plot. John Jr. was a very small child, only 4.5 pounds. He survived. And when he was 2.5 years old, my husband passed away. So I had a house built on Shotwell Street for my son and me. And my mother, who was also a widow, moved in with us and helped take care of John Jr. Now, I continued my studies and my teaching in music and math. In fact, I was on the faculty at Bainbridge High School. Perhaps you remember this tune. By the sparkling old Flint River, under skies of brightest blue, stands the grand old town of Bainbridge, with a high school good and true. Do you know what that song is? What is it?
It is all for our school.
Yes, it is the Bainbridge High School alma mater, and I wrote it.
Wow. That's right.
And after I did teach for a while at Bainbridge High School, and yet every summer when my son John Jr. got out of school, we went straight to Chicago, where I continued my studies in music. Unfortunately, in 1923, when I was in Chicago, I collapsed and I fell gravely ill. I returned to Bainbridge, but I was still not myself, and though Dr. Wheat tried to treat me for more than 2 weeks, I finally succumbed to what they believed to be is encephalitis. And I was laid to rest here with my husband, John, and my little baby, Francis. Now, although I lived a very full life, and most of it was joys and woes, you have to know that I am at peace. However, I hope that the next time you sing the Bainbridge alma mater, you will think of me.